Hello friends, and welcome to part 1 of the American Revolutionary War. Let's just jump straight into this. The American Revolutionary War broke out after the French Indian War, of which the British Empire protected the 13 colonies from natives and New France, which put Great Britain into a lot of debt, so they asked the colonists to possibly pay them back the money as they did protect them from plausible doom. However, the 13 colonies did not want to pay back Great Britain, resulting in many events leading to the American Revolutionary War. Because they didn't want to pay back the father country, Great Britain imposed taxes on tea and sugar, paper, glass, and wool. The United States did not want to pay these dumb taxes and started protesting them. On September 28, 1768, the British came to Boston due to the actions by the colonists in response to the Townshend Acts to restore order in Britain. British troops arrived in 2 regiments, up to 4,000 troops, and 8 warships sailed in. The following evening, the ships launched skyrockets, illuminating the fleet as the crew members sang Yankee Doodle, intended as a taunt to provincial Bostonians. Around noon the next day, several units debarked at Long Wharf, including the 14th and 29th Regiments. In addition to the line of redcoats, each company of the 29th had an Afro-Caribbean drummer dressed in a yellow coat with red lapels and trim, parading past the townhouse. The 29th Regiment set up camp on Boston Commons. Some of these protests include the Boston Massacre on March 5, 1770. This is a confrontation in which British soldiers were being harassed and even assaulted. One of the troops thought they heard a fire and shot into the crowd, prompting everyone else to shoot. This poor choice resulted in 5 colonists being killed and getting themselves sent to court to later be defended by John Adams, future 2nd U.S. President. Another incident was the Boston Tea Party, December 16, 1773. In this case, a group of patriots called the Sons of Liberty went into the harbor at night disguised as Indians and took and poured British tea into the water to protest the Tea Act. All this accomplished, however, was the installment of the Intolerable Acts and the occupation of Boston by the British once again. The powder alarm was the first incident to spark the American Revolutionary War. This was a major popular reaction to the removal of gunpowder from a magazine by British soldiers under orders from General Thomas Gage. The next incident was the Midnight Ride, better known as Paul Revere's Ride, was the informing of the colonists that the regulars, British, were coming to take guns, ammo, and gunpowder from the towns of Concord and Lexington. The famous quote, "1 if by land and 2 if by sea," referring to the lighting of lamps the following morning, would lead to what most would consider the start of the American Revolutionary War. The shot heard around the world refers to the battles of Concord and Lexington. Just as the sun was rising, the battles were fought on April 19th in Middlesex County. About 700 British troops and 477 rebels were at the first engagement, which the British would win. However, using guerrilla warfare tactics, the Americans would push back the British to Boston, where they would begin the siege of Boston. The siege was a 10-month, 3-week, 3-day siege that started right after the Americans pushed the British back at the battles of Lexington and Concord. In this time frame, one of the biggest battles, the Battle of Bunker and Breed's Hill, occurred, which led to a Patriot defeat, however more of a defeat for British as they lost more troops than the Patriots. This was an attempt by Patriots into Quebec Province, British Canada. This was the first major failure battle by the Patriots, with them having 84 killed, wounded, and 431 captured, while the British had 19 killed. The Patriots also lost Commander Richard Montgomery in the campaign. The writing of the Declaration of Independence was done by future 3rd U.S. President Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin on June 11, 1776 through July 5, 1776. At the Second Continental Congress during the summer of 1776, Thomas Jefferson of Virginia was charged with drafting a formal statement justifying the 13th North American colony's break with Great Britain. A member of a committee of 5 that also included John Adams of Massachusetts, Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania, Robert Livingston of New York, and Roger Sherman of Connecticut, Jefferson drew up a draft and included Franklin's and Adams' corrections.